Hello, welcome back to the Freak Show. Bumpy McSquigums here. I want to thank you all for joining me as I continue with my Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity, the White March. We are actually in the White March. Indeed. I know, it's shocking to be sure, and we are going to possibly do some murder. Possibly not. Winter Wolves are ready and eager and excited. You know who else is ready, eager, and excited? This guy right here. Oh, there's a warlord over there. Cool. Let's get in here a little bit closer. Okay, the wolves are now upon him. Itumak. I guess you could try to knock down the big cheese. You can go after him. Oh, I don't know. I guess maybe do that. And you could probably heal Itumak. You could probably bless everyone. Aloth could probably do something like that. Not sure where I'm heading. Probably not to great places. Okay, I've done a little bit of work here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to blast that. I think I could probably step over here. And then just start unloading on this fool. Is Itumak still doing Itumakian things? I feel like he is. Alright, let's do that. Let's do this. Let's do this. Alright, war leader down. The rest of the crew kind of slowly following suit. The Winter Wolves not looking super hot. And why don't we grapple you by your ankle and pull you over here. And then knock you on your booty. Oh, the cannoneer tried, but he failed. Well, he got one shot off, but then he turned into rain. Bye, Craggy Waggies. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, who's this guy? You're the one Renengild sent for. She'll want to speak with you. Her house is just up the way, next to Gref's Rest. The messenger pants, waving smoke away from his face.
Katie's house is burning. Hurry!
Indeed.
They're both in there. Help! The hut's coming down.
It's on our to-do list. The roof of this hut is almost entirely enveloped in flames, lighting the snow in stark orange hues. Several beams have been reduced to ember-dotted husks. Through the hut's threshold, you can see only billowing smoke. Fire roars as it climbs the timbers. The air feels thick and hot, and the building is a maze of flame. Withstanding the smoke and navigating the fire will be a challenge. I think we just send Durance, right? Durance sleeps over the burning threshold, plunging out of sight behind a wall of smoke. Inside the house, the fire has pitted the walls and beams, and a thick haze rolls through the building. It's hard to see even a few feet ahead, save for the occasional glimpse of glowing embers. Crouch down to avoid the smoke. Durance moves onward through a haze of heat and soot. The hut groans and shifts as the blaze grows. With a mighty groan, the burning beam comes crashing down. Caught off guard, Durance is pinned beneath the heavy log. Push the beam away. Even reeling from the impact, Durance is still able to heave the debris away with relative ease. Durance gets back upright, a little winded from the ordeal. A sudden flashover singes Durance's arms. It doesn't stop Durance, but the pain steadily grows. Pressing forward, Durance comes at last to a wider room. To the left is a man, the source of the faint cries for help. He stands trapped behind a curtain of flame, arms raised to ward off the heat. It may be impossible to reach him without quenching the fires first. To the right, a woman lies unconscious beneath what appears to have once been the roof. She's small, but the rubble trapping her looks very heavy. Smoke winds its way up and out into the open air, obscuring all sight of the outside. Stop and examine the situation to the right. This woman is trapped beneath a considerable amount of rubble, including a heavy crossbeam. A purpling bruise on her temple suggests that she was struck as the debris fell. On her outflung hand, you can just make out the glint of a ring. Use a pry bar to clear the rubble. Durrance sets a pry bar against a section of the crossbeam and, using every ounce of strength, strains to lift it clear. After a period of fruitless struggle, the beam finally begins to rise by slow degrees. With one great final effort, Durrance heaves the last of the rubble clear of the woman. Though still unconscious, the woman is free of the rubble and now can be moved. Turn away to help the man. I'm going to carry the woman out. The woman is of a slight frame, and carrying her proves easier than freeing her from the rubble. Durrance hoists her carefully onto his shoulder. Turn away to help the man. Durrance approaches the other victim. Smoke clogs Durrance's lungs, and the heat has become unbearable. Durrance will collapse soon. Durrance hears a shriek of pain. Durrance can see but the faintest outline of the man as he collapses and writhes, engulfed by flame. Behind Durrance, fire and smoke rise in front of the exit. Retreat to the exit. Set by smoke-clogged air, blistering heat, and burning debris, Durrance is rapidly losing strength. With every passing moment, survival becomes unlikely. Keeping a firm hold on the unconscious woman, Durrance turns for the exit. Eyesight fouled by smoke, Durrance stumbles on the debris scattered underfoot. Durrance fights to remain conscious, but exhaustion and lack of air do their work. Durrance is soon overwhelmed and collapses to the ground. Darkness descends. In the hazy state of unconsciousness that follows, the sound of shouting and crashing of burning timber drift in and out of hearing. Durrance wakes some time later to find Adair standing nearby, having dragged Durrance to safety.
Gone. Both of them.
Well, you would think that sending the fiery guy in there to do stuff would have probably been the right call. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like it was the right call due to the fact that maybe we should have sent Adair in there, because Adair is obviously the better choice. I was sure that thing was coming down and taking your friend with it. The man wipes his brow and stares up at the collapsing house. Too bad about Lord Golder and Katie. His eyes widen as a section of the roof collapses. He looks away, shaking his head. You look like you could use a drink. Take this over to Haferix and have one on me. He flips you a couple of flat, curved bones. Well, that didn't go very well. Where were you villagers before, when the fire was burning Durrance alive? What is wrong with him now? He's just fatigued? Critical fatigue. Well, as much as I was hoping that would go differently, it most assuredly did not.
Fresh fish, freshly caught.
Whoa, that guy's voice. Oh.
Fresh fish. Effigy's eyes. It looks at. Ah!
Okay. Well, that was weird. I'm just gonna go over here and take some speckleberry jerky. Speckleberry back jerky. I don't know. A dozen pairs of globular eyes stare up piteously from the discarded heads of the day's catch, awash in pungent sea of fins and innards. Okay. I'm going to sift through the fish scraps, because that just sounds lovely. Your hand runs up against something round and fleshy, the size of a melon. It is smooth and scaleless, and parts seem to be covered in hair. Discarded head, perhaps? But not that of a fish. Pull the head out. With one hand on either side of the head, begin to lift it out of the barrel, only to have it leap from your grasp as the head's owner springs over the lip of the barrel in an eruption of fish chunks that rain down over the market stall. It's Zahua. The man who leapt from the barrel stands facing you, nearly naked save for a loincloth and drizzled in fish viscera. He is covered head to toe in scars, tears and punctures, and the thorny imprints of lashings. Most are faded like old memories. Despite that, the condition of the man's body is remarkable. The drooping skin at his flanks and elbows are the only evidence of his advanced age. His face is placid, but the rest of him appears prepared for anything.
You must forgive Zawa. I was not expecting you.
He looks you in the eye at first, but his gaze drifts now and then, settling on strange parts of your face as though distracted by new discoveries. If he is at all flustered, he gives no indication. What were you doing in that barrel? Zahua scratches behind his ear, dismayed.
Resting my eyes, I thought. Waiting for the Malkachoa to bring me insight.
Okay. He shakes his head.
It would seem I dozed. A good thing my master was not alive to see it.
Zahua blinks, leaning in to get a better look at you. His enlarged pupils seem to crowd out his pale irises.
Are you real?
Yeah, I'm real. Now that you ask, I'm not so sure. There's no way to be certain. No. Yes, I'm real.
Of course. I meant no offense. But I find it is best to ask when Malkachoa is involved.
What is a Malkachoa?
A small white mushroom. I have heard it called snowcap in these lands.
Oh, fun.
It can reveal the true nature of many things.
You have a master, you said. The man traces your inadvertent glance at his scars. He smiles politely.
A teacher, not an owner. Zawa is a free man. Well, as free as any of us.
I still don't really understand why you were in that barrel.
I was freeing myself from vanity.
Well, you succeeded. Did he say sanity or vanity?
Consider, how can one be vain who is bathed in the smell of dead fish?
You have a point. There's a proud glint in his eyes. It is hard to argue with that. It helps to be this handsome.
I had the idea when I passed this way earlier. I am pleased with the results so far.
Okay. He smiles at a woman whose head is swiveled toward him as he passes by, a look of revulsion on her face. Distracted, her toe catches on a stone and she nearly falls on her face. He claps his hands together.
Yes.
He laughs
quite
triumphantly.
pleased.
Those scars are from battle. He glances down at his body.
From battle, yes. I left them upon my enemies.
He points at various patches of crisscrossing scars.
These were struck against fear. These against pleasure. These against hatred. Those down there against greed and doubt. And these...
He points to his face.
These were for vanity.
You made those scars?
I cannot take credit for all of them, but I did most of the good ones.
His mouth perks.
I put them there in battle to remind myself what is real and what is not.
You are a weird man.
Our worst enemies are inventions of the mind, pleasure, fear. When we see them for what they are, we become unstoppable.
And have you achieved this?
I feel I have been close, but never for more than an instant.
That's unfortunate.
In the moment when the pain is sharpest, the world becomes clear. In that moment, I am a match for anyone.
He gives a slow, assured nod. Your wounds must have caused you to suffer greatly.
Of course. I am fortunate to have suffered so much. If I did not suffer, I would not aspire to free myself from it.
Okay.
I would wander from one unfulfilling goal to the next. More wealth, a better station. My soul would wither. But to search for a place beyond suffering's reach is to nurture the soul, to harden it against the elements.
He clenches his fist in illustration.
Suffering is the greatest gift the gods have given us. Their most beautiful, perfect creation. It is the hand that turns the wheel.
His eyes gleam as though looking upon an old and beloved friend. Do you often smear yourself with fish?
Gods, no. What a way to travel the world.
He chuckles.
The usual way is to smear yourself with the ashes of the dead. But they do not burn their dead here, so I have to make do with what the land provides.
He sniffs the air. Well, you could go to that house just over the way. There's some dead people in there that are burnt.
The cold seems to conquer the smell. Even now, the scent hides itself. Disappointing.
You don't seem like you're from around here.
I was visiting a monastery, not far from here. I found it empty, but I met a messenger as I left. He carried a call for aid. Seeing that he would find no monks at the monastery, I chose to go in their place.
Fair enough.
Zawa is no longer young, but in combat he is still the greatest of the Takan people. It seemed only right that he should go.
Fair enough. Stalwart hired me as well.
I would not say I am hired. I seek no wage, and I promise no result. I have chosen a path, and my spoils come from walking it.
Fair enough. An uneasy frown settles on his face, almost a wince.
And this fortress, this Durgan's battery, its people are gone. Zawa would know why.
If you would seek the White Forge as well, I could use the help of an experienced warrior. Fish heads and all. Zahua's face tilts upward, his eyes fixing on the sky. He remains motionless, entranced. At length he blinks as if awakening and looking back at you. He shrugs cheerily.
If one wishes to swim, it is no time to argue with the current. We are here together in this moment because a perfect force has willed it. Who is Zawa to argue?
He looks you squarely in the eyes, and for once, they do not drift.
I will walk with you so long as the gods wish it so.
Fair enough. Let's be on our way. And by on our way, I mean, what are you? You're a monk. You're just gonna not come with me. That's kind of what we're leaning toward here. But it's cool that you exist. I mean, that's a thing. Stalwart fishery. I'd like to get a kind of a grasp of the... I guess we have a grasp of the whole town. Oh, the battery's right there. There's a house. There's the russet wood. There's a temple of Andra. Back to the Deerwood, Longwatch Falls. And Udarin's wagon? Udarin. I guess we'll see what's going on over here. I'll find it without your help. Not giving up, you hear me? Charlatans, I'll... The dwarf paces with his head down and arms crossed, only stopping to hurl glances at the building behind him. His face is smeared dark with grime, and soot falls from his beard as he mumbles to himself. Work my hands into bloody stumps in this place, and for what? He kicks out a mound of dirty snow. Start with nothing, leave with less. He extends his arms out. Who are you yelling at? At idiots, that's who, and I'm as much to blame for believing them. The dwarf wrinkles his nose, nostrils flaring like a horse. Well, good riddance. Should have never settled here in the first place. Some things you mean to leave behind. Come to find out, you pack them away anyway. You pack them. You didn't pack them away, you just packed them. Sorry. But I'm not leaving until I recover what's mine. They can't deny me again. Not after this. Akron gestures at the burnt-out buildings. Those sweet-tongued priests took my heirlooms. Bury the memory of the past, they said. Now I don't even have that. What priests? I take it you gave something of yours to one of Andra's gift-bearers? Akron takes his gaze away from the ground and gives you a sideways glance. You're quick. Wish I had those wits when they spoke of peace and redemption in the eyes of the goddess. Those priests, Andra's dogs, said the goddess would forgive, that some things are best left to be forgotten. He nods toward the nearby temple. Their leader, Lafta, I believed her words. Another one of them, a gift-bearer, took my medallion. He closes his stocky hand into a fist. And now they won't tell me where it is. Why won't they tell you? Because they think they know better, that's why. Said it was the only way I'd forget. What did you want to forget about your past? That was a different life. Better days until... Akron closes his eyes and shakes his head. Motes of soot fall onto his hunched shoulders. It's my burden to bear, not yours. I thought to cast it away, but the memories I lost were all the wrong ones. What else did you give the priests? The dwarf casts a measuring look at you. He quickly turns his head away and nods. You'd understand its value. My armor, a set finer than I'd ever seen. But worthless to an old dwarf. I'd have traded it for the medallion, but fool that I was, I gave them both. Maybe there's something I can do. Not the kind of talk that I've grown used to these last few years, I admit. The priest may pretend otherwise, but folks here tend to look only after themselves. I'd be surprised if they return it willingly. They believe it's a sacred duty to cast the offerings to the goddess in some place where they'll be forgotten. Better find where they drop them, I think. What's Lafta's role in all this? She leads that group of crows. They took over the temple as folks started to leave. Came to unburden those that sought to forget their misery here, they say. Tell me about this medallion you want to recover. Well, it belonged to my sister. It was just a pretty trinket to her. To me, the dwarf casts his gaze down. She was the last of my family, at least that still acted like family to me. I don't expect luck to grace me now, but if you find anything, I'll be here. Count on it. He gives you a vigorous nod. Well, regret's worth trading, apparently. Well, I feel like I should just, like, walk around town at this point. Let's talk to you, buddy. The Orlan bows to you. Ah, an adventurer who saved the village. So good of you to visit my humble wagon. I am Eudoron. How's business? He gestures at the village around him. Poor like this place. Not much coin to be trading in furs and fish. I came to the White March because I assumed there would be no competition, and, well, I have none because there's nothing to compete over out here. Would you like to trade? If you're not making any money out here, why do you stay? His eyes lower. I was rather vocal about my inevitable success with my friends and family. If I give up and return with little more than I left, well, then... His hands ball into fists. No, it won't be like that. I'm not giving up yet. Well, show me what you have for sale. You have an exceptional hunting bow and a raiment of Wael's eyes. Mirrored image, charmed, meh. You actually have some interesting things. The ultimate hat of, of alluring perfection. That might not be so bad. Ring of deflection, Ryona's buckle. Balance of accuracy. I mean, I'm not super impressed with most of these things. You can't have the thing that I want? Of course you can't. Why would you? That would be too easy. Alright, well, ladies and gentlemen, I think I will check out this weird forge thingy here. The smelters haven't seen use in a long time. And I believe in our next episode, I will probably start going into some of these buildings and figuring out a bit more about what's going down. But I'm going to break it off right here. Until the very next episode, my name's Bumpy McSquigums. Thank you so much for stopping by the Freak Show, and I will see you later.